The FNAF lore is a complex and confusing mistress, with plenty of loose threads and puzzle pieces that kinda sorta fit together. It can be difficult to come up with a solid plotline, but that's why we have theories. FNAF theories are the lifeblood of the series, and without them, nobody would really care. Cawthon did such a wonderful job crafting the series that gives us just enough information to speculate without giving us too much and making it just blatantly obvious. And that's the genius of Five Nights at Freddy's. But which theories might have slipped past you, or you just didn't hear about because I just made them up for this video? That's what we look into today. Greetings gamers and welcome back to Top 10 Gaming. I'm your host Con Monroe and I can now legally drink all over the world. Woo! I'm gonna cut right to the chase, okay? This video is long. This is probably the longest top 10 we've done since I got here, okay? So grab some popcorn and get your cardboard pizza and let's get theorizing. Most of these theories actually come from members of the Top 10 Gaming team, so huge thank you to Jack and Amanda for helping me put this list together, because, boy, coming up with theories that you haven't heard, that's tough. So you might have heard a few of these already, so don't hate, appreciate. And number one is one of my theories, but it's so good that you need to stick around. And if the longer videos don't bother you, then feel free to check out our other FNAF videos in a perfectly curated playlist up right there in the top right corner. Alright, time to hop into today's list of the top 10 scary FNAF theories you've never heard. Let's do it. And at 10, Elizabeth's fault. Every time we talk about the Five Nights at Freddy series, we always talk about it from our perspective, where we have some sort of godlike ability to see a whole bunch of key dates, locations, and events that show us the Afton family storyline. However, we don't know the whole story, and we don't know everything. One key thing that we don't know is why. Why did William start killing? Some say it's because he lost his kids, but the time that crying child gets chomped is at the same time we can see Elizabeth get scooped. We can tell by the stomach mouth on the nightmare animatronics and the empty girls' room in FNAF 4's house. But what if only one of those was an accident? We know something happened to the mother of the Afton family. Maybe she left William for someone younger and a little less, child murdery. Or maybe she died in a tragic accident, like perhaps giving birth. We don't know which of the two young children is the oldest, whether it's the crying child or Elizabeth, but we can assume that it's going to be the crying child because he's older and seems to be a little more mature because he didn't, listens to his father and doesn't go touch baby. But if the Afton mother died while giving birth to Elizabeth, resulting in William resenting her for it and wanting revenge. Revenge in the form of a 7-foot-tall robotic clown baby. And at 9, Brainwashed. We all know about The Immortal and the Restless, the vampiric soap opera from sister location that still has a better love story than Twilight. But what we don't know is what it means, if anything. Why would it be placed there? Why would the main character wear purple? And why would he keep saying the baby isn't mine? Well, there's a simple explanation for it all. Brainwashing. Okay, that answer is not simple in the slightest, but the community generally believes that this could be a representation of William, who is represented by the vampire in purple, and his wife, who is represented by Clara in the show, that perhaps one of the children isn't truly his. This betrayal could have resulted in William's first kill, since plenty of serial killers start out like that. But what if it's something more? What if, in reality, the baby isn't his because he stole it, or maybe kidnapped a kid and brainwashed him into being theirs? Perhaps after losing a child, or maybe he brainwashed a kid who saw Elizabeth get scooped, and in that moment of trauma he was in his most vulnerable state. It's not that outlandish of a story with child abducting and possessed animatronics coming from a Chuck E. Cheese parody, especially when that story has doors that make no sense. They shouldn't be closing with power. And it ain't the Mustard Man. Now, by no means is this an unknown theory, okay? I know that most of you will have heard this one before, but I want to remind you of it because it's not talked about very often and presents really interesting ideas that help solve a lot of problems. In one of his theory videos, MatPat suggests that there is a very real possibility that the Mustard Man or Yellow character we play as in the FNAF 6 Midnight Motorist minigame is not William like we've all been thinking, but instead could be Henry, William's business partner who ended up helping to launch the Freddy's restaurants and unintentionally starting his murder spree. I mean, the evidence is there and it makes a lot more sense than it being William. One of the most annoying parts about this lore is that Circus Babies isn't supposed to open until after Freddy's closes, but the girl's room in FNAF 4 is empty, thus implying that she was already snatched by Baby. But what if that was Charlotte? What if that room belonged to Henry's daughter, the puppet, the one killed by William? Then everything would make sense. That would mean that the crying child is William's son and Foxy bro isn't Michael Afton. It changes so much but can make so much more sense. Go watch Matt's video if you haven't because he has more time to explain it than I do and he can do it way better. It was his theory, so. And at 7, Original Intentions. The original FNAF group of animatronics are seen as the first victims, the missing children from 1985, and the grandparents of all other dead animatronic possessing children. But what if we've been misunderstanding this the whole time? It was suggested to me by Jack that perhaps all they wanted was your help. You end up getting fired in that game for tampering with the animatronics, among other things, so you were messing with them. And from what we know about the series, you were trying to set their souls free. What if that's all they wanted you to do? Sure, you're playing as Michael, who looks a lot like William, their killer, but surely they would be able to see that you aren't him. They could be trying to get you to help, but they don't know their own strength because, you know, they were children. And then they possessed animatronic animals with strength 10 times greater than theirs. I mean, sure, they scare you, but you don't actually see them lunge at you unless it's Freddy when you run out of power in FNAF VR. So maybe they're just trying to get your attention, because, you know, you're looking at a screen. Damn millennial. I know he's not a millennial, but, like, you know what I mean. And at 6, animatronic testing. We know that nightmare animatronics from FNAF 4 are hallucinations. We know this thanks to Nightmare Freddy's voice lines from Ultimate Custom Night, one of which says, "I am now given flesh to be your tormentor," and another one that says, "Now there is more than an illusion to fear," suggesting that before he wasn't real, but now he is, because, you know, you're in hell. Now, obviously, William wasn't testing real animatronics, but perhaps he was using his son as an experiment for the illusion sound discs we hear about in the FNAF novels that make an appearance on Funtime Freddy's Insides and sister location. Perhaps before he made the Funtimes, he was testing the sound discs on his son in order to make sure that they weren't faulty, because, you know, a giant clown animatronic that's like 7 feet tall would definitely scare the absolute living crap out of any child that it's trying to abduct. So, it can use a disc to look friendlier, that's for damn sure. It could even turn itself into the most appealing thing to that child, which is insanely overpowered and sounds like it should be used by a politician. Also, I know this is not a new theory, but you really think I could come up with 10 new theories? Even with help, that would be hard, okay? Halfway through at number 5, Purple Guy Origins. The Mustard Man, or the yellow guy from Midnight Motorist, could possibly be Henry, but it could still be William. And while yes, you could explain the choice in color away as just Scott being Scott, I think that there's something more. Now keep in mind that this is my theory and that I have not seen this talked about online, so if you have heard this or any of these on this list before, I apologize. But we've been associating the purple guy with William Afton, yes, but it's always been the killer version of William Afton. There was a time before he started killing, so how could we show that this character had not been corrupted by anger and hate yet, when all we know about his visuals is a color? Well, change the color. I genuinely believe that the yellow guy from Midnight Motorist is William Afton before he started killing. He hadn't been corrupted by anger or hate yet. That's why he's yellow. Don't get me wrong, the books showed us that he wasn't a good guy, straight up kicking Elizabeth at one point from what I can remember, but he hadn't killed anyone at the time of Midnight Motorist. Sure, it kind of throws some holes into what we've originally thought, because we thought that he had just killed Charlotte, but we only think that, okay? It hasn't been confirmed. And yes, he isn't allowed into juniors, but maybe he was just banned from the bar because he's an angry drunk who comes home and kicks his children. We don't know. It's always a possibility, okay? And until Scott says otherwise, so don't come for me in the comments. Unless it's confirmed, you can't yell at me, okay? And at 4, MatPat working on the movie. The FNAF movie has been in the works for a while. Scott has been hard at work writing and rewriting scripts in order to make them worthy of production, since, you know, we all have extremely high expectations at this point. However, there was a recent conversation on Twitter between MatPat, our lord and savior of FNAF, and Jason Blum, founder of Blumhouse Productions, aka the company that's making the FNAF movie. They also made Paranormal Activity. There was a whole conversation between the two on Twitter where Jason said that he had discovered MatPat's theories and was in deep, saying that he's gonna watch them all 10 times. Eventually, MatPat responded saying that he would love to have Jason on the show to talk about the movie and ask him plenty of questions, such as if it's a lore story based on the games or books, or if it's just going to be another story set in the same universe. To which Jason said it would be amazing to come on his show. However, how would Jason just be learning about MatPat now? Okay, he tweeted out saying that he found it on September 1st. So, how did nobody mention him beforehand? But there's also the point of the audience. MatPat is a member of the FNAF community, but has more ties with the fans than he does with production companies behind the games. Meaning that if they really wanted to make the movie good, they would most likely bring MatPat on. And the fact that there was a blatant conversation really shows that perhaps this is what they've been doing for a while, or the whole time. It's probably a recent thing. Getting close to the end, and at number 3, we are Freddy. This one's also mine. There are a lot of weird things happening in FNAF VR, but you need to remember, in Help Wanted we play as a game tester for a game in the FNAF verse. So the game I play is different to the game I'm testing in the game I'm playing. Get it? So my question is, who do we play as in the game that we're testing? My theory is that we play as Freddy. Well, not the animatronic, but rather Gabriel, the child who goes on to possess the Freddy animatronic. Why? Well, honestly, because of the pizza party ending. When we enter the back room, we will see pizza and cake on tables beside us, and then Glitchtrap ushers us onto the stage. When we get out there, we get stuffed into Freddy, as made evident by the mic in our right hand. Also, this is my right hand. Don't come for me in the comments. I know I have a thing with directions, okay? This is my right hand. But the thing is, Glitchtrap is an anomaly. A literal glitch in the code. Like, he shouldn't exist. So, how is he able to control that ending? I don't think he does, or rather he uses that ending to collect our soul. The two game testers before us, Tape Girl and Jeremy, also have run-ins with Glitchtrap, but we don't know if Tape Girl makes it out alive, and we know that Jeremy doesn't. If you know this series, that name should be setting off alarm bells, because, well, we know from FNAF 6 that Bonnie gets possessed by a kid named Jeremy because of the gravestone ending. And here we are with another Jeremy. However, this one cuts his face off after seeing Glitchtrap with the paper cutter in another room. But what else did we see in the room with our pizza? Chica and Bonnie animatronics. Chica without her arm, and Bonnie missing his face. I believe Tape Girl was named Susie, and now Glitchtrap has 3 of the 5 original missing children, and he needs only 2 more to truly escape the game. And ultimately, in number 2, no plot. When Scott made the original Five Nights at Freddy's game, it was a last attempt, one final effort to become a game designer after years of having unsuccessful releases. Well, not as successful as FNAF at least. But FNAF absolutely blew up. It became so popular that everybody and their mom was playing or talking about it. Hell, my group even made part of our drama exam performance on FNAF in grade 10. But Scott never expected that. He released the second game 87 days after the first, and got everyone arguing over whether it was a sequel or a prequel. But did he even know? There are so many points that conflict with others from a lore and timeline standpoint from the original games to now, and while yes, Scott can't remember so many games in such tiny details, he couldn't have thought about this lore from the first game. There are many compilations of Scott listening to MatPat and Markiplier that make some wonder if Scott even knows where he's going with the series next. So far, he's just been putting out a load of short stories and not really focusing on Security Breach, the new FNAF game. But maybe that's because he doesn't know what to do next. Finally, in number 1, Foxy Bro and Crying Child. Now, this is my own personal theory that I haven't seen anywhere else on the internet, alright? If it has been put out there by someone else, I couldn't find it. So, don't hate on me in the comments. This is my personal theory, my evidence. I'm the one who researched this, okay? I personally believe that Foxy Bro and the Crying Child are the same person. I know it sounds weird, but hear me out before you rage at me in the comments, please. Until the release of the security logbook, we thought that Michael Afton was Foxy Bro, the one who scares the crying child using the ripped off head of his Foxy plush. Not cool, bro. But after the release of the security logbook, everything we thought we knew was upended. Mike somehow knew what the Nightmare animatronics looked like, but still knew about exotic butters and casual bongos. But how could this be possible? We saw the crying child die. And now we're back to thinking that Michael Afton is Foxy Bro because of the simple chewing gum Easter egg from the logbook and the recent Step Closer short story from the Fazbear Frights books. But what if it doesn't have to be one or the other? What if they're the same person? The logbook is constantly asking Mike if he remembers his name, if he can remember things like past dreams, or if the purple plastic telephone was his favorite toy. If he was alive this whole time, why would he forget these things? Why would he have so much in common with his brother that he even knows what the Nightmare animatronics look like? They were hallucinations. It doesn't make sense. It could be possible that after getting chopped by Fredbear in the pizzeria, Crying Child actually does die, but is then put back together by William like we thought at the start. Brought back, but instead of as himself, as his older brother, being implanted with memories that would make you feel guilty about killing your younger brother with a simple prank, making you stay away from the restaurants because being there reminds you of your brother, which was actually you, allowing your father to continue his killing spree free from your prying eyes. After all, before you died, you saw what he was. Remember what will happen if he catches you. It also explains why he would need to keep cameras on his children, to make sure that they don't remember their name, who they were before death. and it would make sense that we view everything from Mike's perspective, hence why we see the two children together. We play as Mike, so of course we would see flashbacks and stuff through his eyes, and see ourselves with our brother, even though it's us, because we, as Mike, remember having a little brother. The nail in the coffin for me was actually a fairly minute detail I didn't think anyone else noticed or mentioned. The house as shown in the FNAF 4 minigames. The FNAF 4 minigames have you exploring your house as well as the path to Freddy's, but the thing is, we only see two rooms. We see our room, which has our plushies and such, and we see a girl's room, presumably Elizabeth's, but there aren't any others. Next to the TV there is a door, yes, but I have never seen a door that leads to a hallway, only a door that leads to a staircase to the basement or a door to a master bedroom. A staircase that went up wouldn't have a door, and we don't see one in the house. And there was no vacant room, so Mike couldn't be living in the basement. And he does live at home, since we see in the Midnight Motorist game he is sitting there on the couch watching TV. There is no room for him, because he was created after the crying child died at the hands of Fredbear. Crying child is Michael Afton, and so is Foxy Bro. They're both the same person. The question is, did he ever remember? What do you think about that, MatPat? You asked us to figure out what he was forgetting. I feel like I have it figured out, okay? He forgot himself. There we have it, friends, the top 10 scary FNAF theories. Which theory surprised you the most? And what do you think about the whole crying child and Foxy Bro being the same person thing? Let me know down below, and make sure you send this video to MatPat on Twitter or Instagram so that he can see my theory on this, because I really think I'm onto something and I feel like he would have some input. And if you enjoyed, be sure you hit like and subscribe for daily gaming content and ring that bell to join the clan and level up. Thank you all so much for watching. I have been and shall remain Connor Monroe, and I'll see you in another video. Hit me up, MatPat.